Hello everyone, this is my digital storytelling. Welcome to the University of Texas at Dallas. Right now we're right outside the Residence Hall North. This is where I've spent my right around about 11 to 12 weeks working with students. I've been doing campus and conference services. So basically I've been working with corporate interns and also several research groups. So throughout this time, I'll tell you all a couple of things that I've learned, the demographics of the institution, and also some of the people I've worked with. Right now we're inside Residence Hall North, so this is the inside of the building. This is where we have some of the research groups who come, awesome corporate interns, and this is kind of where I've been spending a lot of my time. I'm about to show you on my office. Hope everybody's doing well. So this is my office. This is where I've been taking the time to work and be able to help manage Residence Hall North. So throughout the time, I've worked with Katie Farrell. She's assistant director of residential life, and I've also worked with Melissa Neighbors. She's also one of the residence life coordinators. So throughout the time, it's been great to learn from them and be able to be a dynamic part. I've also been supervising about 8 conference assistants, all from different backgrounds, different walks of life. So it's been very intriguing being able to work with students from a different population than I'm used to at Illinois Wesleyan. So it's been just a great opportunity being able to sit here and to learn a lot throughout the time. So right now, right outside the student union. So I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about the demographics of the campus. Campus, surprisingly, is predominantly international students. We have 32% percentage of white students. As far as the national students, around 23%, Asian 23%, African Americans right around the 5%. It's very interesting. Most of the students here are in STEM fields. This is a research one, but has a predominant emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and math. Just furthermore, it's been very interesting just to understand that, and it's very evident throughout the population when walking around campus. So it's interesting that the campus is very diverse because the environment and the surrounding community where the University of Texas at Dallas is located is a suburban community that is predominantly white. It's been kind of a cultural shift to just witness that most of the students I see walking around are either from or either Middle Eastern or Asian. It seems like white students, as I've noticed from my experience, seem like they're the minority. But it's been very interesting to see them when it's the cultures and the beauty that surrounds it. Just to be able to be in an environment where it's quite diverse and it also caters towards my learning, also is conducive to my student learning. They're able to meet people from different walks of life they've never met before. It's very interesting because in around this area, like I said, it is predominantly white, but on this campus, it's definitely breaking barriers and being a very diverse campus. One other thing that I've noticed through my professional development opportunity is that the campus is actually rated one of the top universities for the LGBTQ plus A pride. You really don't think that, especially being in a state as conservative as Texas, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth region. But this school beats out a lot of schools such as the University of Texas at Austin, University of Texas at Arlington, and a lot of other UT system schools. So that's one aspect of diversity that's very interesting and pertinent on this campus. Also, as far as being socialized here on this campus, when I first got here, it was very hot. I'll admit. I sweated through a black polo. I like to tell people, and it's kind of funny to think that, but it's been great. It's been a very welcoming environment. Training was pretty great. Being able to learn the system and how research one definitely operates the campus and conference services. I came to realize the most important thing for someone who is in housing or is not in housing, you have to pay attention to detail because oftentimes you have a lot of these camps and sometimes miscommunication can occur because let's say if someone needs refrigerators or linens or anything of that nature, it's kind of like I like to think about campus conference services as being hotel management but for higher education. Our population, we do work with students. We also do work with children, also adults. Do have camps here. So with that in mind, it's really just taught me the ability just to have a lot of patience because there are a lot of times when not everything's gonna go your way. I've made so many packets throughout the course of this summer. I really don't like making the packets, but I'm never gonna have my conference assistants do something that I'm not willing to do. So that's definitely been a very important learning factor for me. So in the book that we have read, Becoming Socialized in Student Affairs, how it relates to my experiences is that one of the chapters talks about supervision. It's very important to develop your supervision style. One of the ACPA and national competencies that I want to focus on was leadership. It's very interesting. In my previous experience working at IWU, I really have been working with students that are around my similar age. This feels like I was about a year removed from my undergrad, in which I used to hang out with these students and I have to supervise them. So that's definitely been a huge learning curve, and I want to develop my identity as a leader. I like to say leaders are not born, they're actually developed. And through my time, I've developed a lot of leadership skills, not through my undergraduate experiences, but specifically writing graduate school. So as far as how this relates to the book, I know the book talks about the laissez-faire approach, the autocratic approach, and also the companionable approach. When I first got here, my emphasis was on the companionable approach. I wanted to get to know all my students from a personal basis. I believe having one-on-ones weekly was able to I was able to develop that. But also at the same time, the autocratic leadership style, I never want to implement that. I never want to micromanage my students because I do want to challenge and support them. Right in the beginning, I had to support them and providing new information on how to do the job well. For some of my students, this was the most socially interactive job they've ever had in their life. And some of them are very introverted. When I first got here, I had them take the 16 personality tests, and I myself, I'm an I, which is for the introvert. And out of all my 8 students, 7 of them are introverts. So it's very interesting just to understand that. So I never want to put them in a situation that challenges them too much, but at the same time, I'm able to appreciate them and admire them for their tasks. So the synergistic approach that the book also mentions, sometimes I have to provide that and giving me details, or sometimes I'll ask questions. So oftentimes I find in my office, the job that I do doesn't have to do with administrative tasks for the essential groups or camp conferences that we're serving, but a lot of it's just providing information for my students. I like to say a lot of this was learning on the fly. In the beginning, I actually didn't have a direct supervisor. It's his director, Katie Farrell. She took over, and there was times that she wasn't in the office, so I had to rely on kind of like the previous knowledge I had. But at the same time, I think the beauty of it all is that working in higher education student affairs and every campus and conference services is a lot different. We're still in the neck of things. I have right around about 2 or 3 more weeks before I go home on August 8th. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I just want to thank you all for tuning in and listening to my digital story. And I can't wait to come back to Illinois State. And I hope, have one more yet last year to state my passion. So thank you all.